How does the average person become a successful real estate investor? Well, I'm going to break it down in this video into 4 P's. And if you don't know me, hi, my name is Ryan Chaw, your friendly neighborhood real estate investor, and I teach new investors how to get started in real estate investing. And the reason why I feel very comfortable talking about the subject is because I literally started at $0 as a small time landlord, and I bought one property a year until I scaled to 15 properties under my belt. I basically reinvested the cash flow I was getting on each property in order to scale quickly. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into the 4 P's. The very first P is people. The first thing you want to do as a real estate investor is hire the right mentor for the strategy that you're doing. So let's say you're doing Airbnb. You probably want to find somebody who has done several Airbnbs and really is an expert on the subject. If instead you are thinking of flipping a property, then you want to hire somebody who has done over maybe 50 or 100 flips before. The reason why you want to hire a mentor is so that you can really shorten the timeline and the amount of mistakes you make, as well as avoid wasting your time and money trying to figure it out all on your own. So that's the first person that you should really look for. Now, the second person you should look for is a real estate agent in the local area that you're thinking of investing in. The reason why you need such a good real estate agent is because they're your point of contact pretty much for everything. If you're looking for contractors, if you're looking for property management, if you're looking for a lender, the real estate agent usually will have really good connections to all of those people, if they are a good agent, that is. So there's this saying out there that rock stars like working with other rock stars. If you find a rock star agent, more than likely they'll go ahead and introduce you to the rest of their rock star team and network. Now, to find a rock star agent, I usually go to Yelp. I will go to Zillow Agent Finder, and I will cross-reference and look at the different reviews out there. And usually a couple things that I look for are, is this agent responsive? I really want an agent who can respond to me within 24 hours in case I see a deal and I want to put an offer on it right away. The next thing I look for is, are they sincere? Are they going to look at several deals and tell me that this property I should walk away from, even though it's the most expensive property and they'll make the most commission on it? They're willing to tell me, stay away from this property because it has a lot of red flags on it. Finally, I also want an agent who has 5 to 10 years of market experience in the specific market that I'm investing in. The reason why you want this is because if they've worked that market for 5 to 10 years, they will automatically have a lot more connections and probably also find a lot of deals that are off the market because they do their own direct mail campaigns, for instance. Once you have a really good real estate agent, they should be able to recommend to you really good lenders, as well as really good contractors and handyman to help maintain your house later on. And once you've assembled that team, the last person you need is somebody who's going to be boots on the ground to help you manage the property. Now, some people self-manage it and visit the property themselves, but others will find a property manager or just somebody willing to do errands for you who can be your eyes on the ground to make sure that the contractors and handymen do what they said they were going to do and inspect the work afterwards to make sure it was of good quality. So that's it. Just to recap, you want to make sure you have a good mentor, a great real estate agent, a great lender, a great contractor slash handyman team, and finally a great person who's going to be your boots on the ground, maybe a property manager, or maybe it's somebody who's not an official property manager but is willing to help you on your properties. Could even be your realtor, for instance. Now, the second P is very important. The second P is perseverance. There's a fact of life. If you literally never give up at something, you will eventually succeed, as long as you don't die along the way. Think about it. Even if you make mistake after mistake after mistake, eventually you're going to figure it out. Because as humans, we naturally learn and grow and get better over time. And I want to go ahead and share with you a Bruce Lee quote. Bruce Lee said, "I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times." And this really emphasizes how important it is to really focus on one area of real estate investing, get really good at it, create a model for yourself, and then perfect that model until you succeed. Once you have that perfect model, all you have to do is repeat it again and again and again. And that's what I did. All of my properties are student housing rentals. So I took one strategy where I rent out each bedroom to college students, and I perfected it, made it better over time, and I just continued doing that same thing over time until it fully replaced my pharmacist income. Speaking of W-2 income, the third P stands for paycheck. Most real estate investors that I know started off buying real estate while working their W-2, or they have a business that's been long established that brings in consistent monthly revenue. But most people who buy real estate started out as a W-2 worker. In fact, that's how I started out. I ended up working for a year and a half and saved up as much money as I could to buy that first property. And the reason why it's better to start as a W-2 worker is because it's much easier to get approved for the mortgage loan that you will be taking on the rental that you buy. This also means that you will probably have better loan terms and a lower interest rate. So if you don't have a W-2, the first thing I would recommend doing is get a W-2 that can bring in consistent income so that not only are you going to be approved for loans easier, but if you do have to make repairs and maintain your property, you do have that flexibility and ability to pay to make the necessary repairs. Okay, now this brings us to the fourth and final P, which is patience. You really have to be patient as a real estate investor and as an investor in general. Whether you invest in a business or start a business, invest in real estate, or even invest in stocks, the most important thing is to be patient. The people who make money by investing sit on the asset for a very long time. Think about Warren Buffett. He would buy these assets and wait for 20, 30 years before even cashing out on them. Now, I'm not saying real estate, you have to wait that long to realize your gains. Real estate is really nice because you get a monthly rental income, so you actually get money back on a monthly basis rather than having to wait for 10 or 20 years in the stock market to realize your gains. But with that being said, I'll go ahead and share with you a story of how I made a really big $30,000 mistake on my first property. And even though I lost over $30,000, I still pulled through and persevered, and now I have the 15 properties that I mentioned. So my first house was a 100-year-old house. I bought it for $262,000 back in 2016. About 3 months after I bought it, a tenant called me up at like 11 p.m. at night, and he said, "Dude, there's sewage coming out of the kitchen sink. It's all over the kitchen floor. And not only that, but the showers are backing up as well, and there's sewage all over the bathroom floors as well." I panicked. I had to call so many people, so many plumbers. And eventually I found a plumber who could go and snake the line and see what's going on. He found out that the whole sewage pipe was broken. So what I had to do was hire them to basically replace the whole sewage line with PVC pipe. Now that cost in itself $9,000. Not only that, but I also had to get a sanitation crew to go out there and clean up the sewage mess because we had to sanitize it as well. Other problems that I had on that house was the AC was just not present. I didn't realize that the house didn't come with an AC because I didn't look at the home inspection report very closely. So come summertime when it was 100 degrees outside, I had to hurry up and put in a mini split AC system into that house so that the tenants are not suffering during the summer. So that was $15,000. Also, I had a lot of pest control issues. I had to replace the decking into my backyard. And so all of that added up to over $30,000 on my first house. The horrible part was that I only had $7,000 in the bank at that time when all these repairs hit me. So what I did was I had to be a little bit creative. I borrowed about $24,000 from my father, and that money went towards helping pay some of those repairs that I couldn't put on credit card, as well as putting up an extra bedroom. Now, the cool part is I borrowed money from him to put up that extra bedroom, and I was able to offer him in return for the loan that bedroom's rent for the rest of his life. And this is a win-win scenario because originally I wasn't even making rent from that bedroom because it didn't exist. But we were able to create it with my dad's funds, and his return was $550 per month for the rest of his life, which is a really good return. I think it's about a 29% return on an annual basis for the money that he actually put in. So, of course, the first property did horrible, but I licked my wounds and I continued at it and I bought one property a year. Eventually, I was able to sell my very first property and use that to buy several more rentals until I hit the 15 property mark where I am today. So, I hope this information was useful, guys. These are the 4 P's. If I were to tell my younger self exactly what to focus on, I would say focus on these 4 P's and really treat them as the fundamentals to successful real estate investing. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe and share it with your friends so that it can reach more people who are really struggling with getting started in real estate investing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next video.